Space was silent, wide, and endless. It stretched in every direction like a dark ocean. Stars burned far away, tiny and cold. In this silence nothing moved, nothing spoke, and then something did. A strange signal cut through the darkness. It was not a human signal. It was not a message from any satellite, any probe, or anything ever built on Earth. It came from deep space, far beyond human reach, far beyond all known charts. It echoed through every listening station on Earth like a sudden scream in a quiet room. The signal was sharp, metallic, cold. Scientists at the Global Space Center froze as their screens filled with alien symbols. Technicians shouted. Alarms flashed. Communications officers tried to translate the noise, but their computers almost crashed from the complexity. One simple sentence appeared on every monitor across the world. The Galactic Empire has found humanity. Fear spread quickly. Governments called emergency meetings. Military bases locked down. Families around the world watched news channels, confused and frightened. For the first time in human history, Earth knew it was not alone. The message continued, now translated, "We are coming, prepare for evaluation." Evaluation, judgment, a test. Nobody understood what the Empire wanted. Nobody knew what kind of beings sent such a message. Were they peaceful, violent, curious, hungry? But humans understood one thing clearly: they were coming and they were powerful. Across the world panic grew. Some people cried, some prayed, some tried to leave cities. Others recorded videos on their phones shouting about the end of the world. But in one corner of the Earth, in a hidden space command facility, there was no fear. Only a quiet, steady confidence. Admiral Rayan stood inside the human fleet command center. He was a calm man, older, with gray hair at his temples and sharp eyes that had seen too many wars. Behind him, holograms of star maps floated like ghostly clouds. He watched the alien message again, not with fear but with interest. Finally, he said softly, "They found us." The officers near him stared in surprise. "Sir," one young officer whispered, "the Galactic Empire, it's real, you knew." Rayan nodded once. "We suspected, we listened, and now they speak." The officer swallowed nervously. "The signal says they will test us." "Yes," Rayan said, "and we will pass." While Earth panicked, the human fleet moved with quiet precision. They launched hidden satellites, they activated deep space scanners. Silent warships left their underground hangars, rising through clouds like dark shadows. The Empire expected a weak species, but humans were not weak, not anymore. For years, humanity had prepared for something like this. Not war, just the unknown. Humans had learned to build fast. Humans had learned to fight smart. Humans had survived every disaster their own world threw at them, and now something outside the world had finally come. 3 hours later, another message hit Earth. This one was even colder. "Your first test begins now." The words shook the world. Lights flickered. Communication networks glitched. Satellites shut down for 10 full seconds, enough to scare every nation on Earth. A deep vibration passed through the planet. Birds took flight. Dogs barked. People ran outdoors and stared at the sky with wide, confused eyes. Then they saw it. A shape entering the atmosphere. Massive, silent, alien. A giant metallic object hovered in the sky over the Pacific Ocean. It was bigger than any aircraft ever made. Its surface was smooth and silver, with glowing blue lines running across it like veins. The clouds around it twisted as if pulled by its gravity. Earth had seen UFO videos before, but nothing like this. News helicopters captured footage. Every screen on Earth filled with the image of the alien craft. It did not attack. It did not speak. It only scanned. A beam of pale blue light passed over oceans, mountains, cities, forests. It was analyzing everything: human buildings, human weapons, human biology. Inside Fleet Command, alarms beeped non-stop. "Sir, the scan is reading our defense grids," an officer said. "Let it," Rayan answered. The scan continued for 10 long minutes. Then a robotic voice echoed across all communication networks at once. The alien drone finally spoke. "Humanity unfit." The lights went out across the entire planet. For 3 seconds, Earth went completely dark. The Empire's power was clear. They could shut down the global electrical grid like switching off a flashlight. People screamed. Cars crashed. Hospitals lost power. Pilots shouted into dead radios. The world tasted fear like never before. But inside humanity's fleet command, emergency lights stayed on. Rayan expected this. Humans had their own secrets. He turned to his officers and spoke calmly. They think darkness scares us. He smiled slightly. Let's show them why it doesn't. He pressed a command. Deep underground, hidden generators powered on. Massive steel doors slid open. From tunnels beneath mountains, 3 black spacecraft launched into the air, silent and sleek, built with human creativity and stubbornness. These were not the best ships in the galaxy, but they were human, and humans were dangerous when tested. The alien drone did not detect them at first. It continued floating, confident, almost bored. It had tested thousands of species before. Most failed immediately. Some resisted briefly. None had ever impressed the Empire. Approach target, Rayan ordered. The 3 human ships flew in formation. Their engines were quiet, their signatures masked. As they neared the drone, one pilot whispered, "Admiral, are we really doing this?" "Yes," Rayan replied, "we are." The drone finally sensed them, turning sharply. Its glowing eye brightened. Its weapons opened, sleek, deadly, alien, but humans were too quick. "Launch grapplers," Rayan ordered. Metal claws shot from the ships and latched onto the drone's hull. It tried to activate shields, but the grapplers jammed the system. The drone spun wildly, trying to shake the humans off. Then the final order, EMP burst. A sphere of white energy exploded from the ships, washing over the drone. Its lights flickered, its engines stuttered, its scan beam froze in midair like a broken flashlight. The drone went silent. Earth gasped. For the first time in the Empire's long history, a young species had disabled one of their scouts. Inside the drone, alien sensors tried to reboot. Data filled the Empire's communication hub many galaxies away. The Empire's commanders stared at their screens, shocked. Humans were not supposed to fight back. They were not supposed to win, but they had. Admiral Rayan watched the drone collapse into the ocean with a hiss of steam. He folded his arms and said, "That was your test. That was easy." Earth heard his words. The world that had spent the whole day in fear suddenly felt something new. Hope. In homes around the planet, people shouted in excitement. Soldiers cheered. Scientists cried with relief. Children smilingly asked, "Did we win?" But the Empire heard Rayan's words too, and they did not like the arrogance of humans. Moments later, another message appeared in the sky above Earth. A giant hologram of alien symbols formed like a storm cloud. This time the translation came instantly. "Humanity has broken protocol. You have failed the first test. The storm fleet is coming." The clouds started to glow red. The air shook with invisible force. Space above Earth swirled like water pulled into a whirlpool, and then a tear opened in the sky. Not a normal opening, a rip, a wound in space. Lightning cracked through the tear, bright and violent. A shape began to emerge, large and sharp. Then another, and another, hundreds of them, the storm fleet. Ships made of living lightning, thousands of years ahead of human technology. Humanity had passed one test, but the real test had just begun. Rayan watched the fleet arrive with calm eyes. His officers stared in fear. "Sir, what do we do now?" one whispered. Rayan smiled again, this time sharper. "The same thing we always do," he said. "We fight back." The sky lit up as the first storm fleet ship roared like thunder. Humanity's real challenge had begun. It was torn open like a giant wound, glowing with red and white storms. The storm fleet poured through the hole in space, one ship after another, like thunder made solid. Each alien ship was long, liquid-like, and wrapped in crackling lightning that danced across its surface. People on Earth stared up, frozen. The air trembled with each new arrival. It felt like the world's heartbeat had stopped. But in the human fleet command center, Admiral Rayan did not blink. He watched the storm fleet enter Earth's orbit with an expression almost amused. "Looks like the Empire didn't like our first answer," he said quietly. Officers exchanged nervous glances. No one knew whether to laugh or panic. The Empire's storm fleet had destroyed dozens of civilizations in history. They were the enforcers, the judge, the hammer, and now they were here. A young officer, Mira, stepped forward with trembling hands. "Sir, their energy output is off the charts. Their weapons can break continents. We can't match that." Rayan turned to her, calm as ever. "Good, then they won't expect us to try." He walked to the center display. A hologram of the storm fleet hovered above, ships glowing like living storms. They think power wins battles, Rayan said. They don't understand humans. Mira frowned. What do humans have, sir? He looked at her with a sharp smile. Chaos, creativity, and a very dark sense of humor. A distant rumble shook the command center. An alien ship fired a warning blast, lightning striking the ocean and evaporating 10 square kilometers of water in seconds. Everyone on Earth saw it. Everyone thought it was the end. But the human fleet did not launch missiles. They did not power lasers. They did not raise shields. They laughed. On every ship, pilots grinned. Engineers rolled their eyes. Soldiers whispered jokes. Humanity had always responded to fear the same way, by refusing to bow. Rayan raised his hand. Deploy the Ghost Wing. The room froze. The Ghost Wing was humanity's strangest creation. A fleet of small, unarmed, almost broken-looking ships built from scrap, stealth plating, and unconventional engineering. They weren't strong, they weren't fast, they weren't impressive, but they were unpredictable, and unpredictable was deadly. The order went out. Hidden hangars opened across Earth. 50 Ghost Wing ships rose into the sky, flickering in and out of radar like shadows. The Storm Fleet scanned them immediately and laughed. The alien translation echoed across global broadcasts. Human toys detected. No threat. The ships targeted them with casual arrogance. Mira whispered, "Sir, they know how weak those ships are." "Yes," Rayan said, "but they don't know what's inside them." Inside each Ghost Wing ship was a single pilot, wearing an experimental Neuralink helmet. The pilots were not elite soldiers. They were volunteers chosen for one shared trait: they were chaotic thinkers. Gamers, street racers, stunt pilots, coders who loved braking systems. People who solved problems by doing the exact thing no one expected, the perfect human weapon. As the Storm Fleet aimed its lightning cannons, Ghost Wing pilot #12, a 22-year-old girl named Hana, smirked. "Admiral, permission to annoy them." "Go ahead," Rayan said. The Ghost Wing scattered, wild, fast, erratic. Instead of flying in formation, they flew like children chasing fireflies. They looped, flipped, dipped, rolled, spiraled. Their movements made no tactical sense. To humans it was insane, to aliens it was impossible. Storm fleets targeting AI couldn't lock onto them. Their flight patterns broke every known combat prediction model. The Empire sent another message: "Stop moving, you are disordered." Hana laughed so hard that her ship shook. "Disordered. We call this Monday." The pilots started singing through open channels, off-key, loud, chaotic. Some played drums on their control panels. 2 pilots argued about video games while dodging lightning bolts. Humanity hadn't brought a fleet, they had brought madness. The Storm Fleet grew irritated. Their lightning cannons heated. Their ships glowed brighter. They fired again, massive arcs of electric destruction. But the Ghost Wing kept dancing. Every zigzag, every loop, every unpredictable dive. Human minds created patterns no alien AI could understand. Rayan watched with satisfaction. "The Empire tests strength," he murmured, "but humans win with spirit." But the Ghost Wing alone couldn't stop the Storm Fleet. They were a distraction, a beautiful, ridiculous distraction. Rayan turned to Mira. "Prepare the spike." The room fell quiet. The gravity spike was humanity's most dangerous invention, a weapon that pulled local gravity into a needle-thin force, strong enough to bend metal, break ships, or tear space itself for a split second. It was so dangerous that Earth had never dared use it, until now. "Target the lead Storm ship," Rayan ordered. Engineers powered the spike. Warning lights flashed red, the ground shook. If the weapon failed, it could destroy the launch site. If it succeeded, the Empire would learn fear. Mira watched the readings and whispered. "Gravity surge at 60%. 70-90. Release," Rayan said. The gravity spike fired. There was no beam, no flash, no explosion, just a ripple like reality itself blinked. Then the lead Storm Fleet ship folded in half, silently, instantly, smoothly, like paper crushed by an invisible hand. Every screen on Earth froze. Every alien ship flickered. The Empire's communication hub across the galaxy went dark for a full second, a sign of total shock. The Storm Fleet recoiled. Hana screamed through her helmet, "We actually did IT." The Empire finally sent a message, not angry, not mocking, but confused. "Humanity is not classified correctly." Recategorizing. The Empire had classifications for species: weak, Resistant, dangerous, extinct, but humans did not fit, not anymore. The Storm Fleet began changing formation, tighter, defensive, smarter. Their arrogance was gone. They switched from test mode to combat mode. Lightning cannons powered up, shields strengthened, AI adapted. Mira whispered, "Sir, they're serious now." Rayan nodded, "Good, now the real fun begins." The Storm Fleet launched their counterattack. Lightning beams whipped through the sky, chasing ghost wing pilots who flew with insane joy. One beam struck a human ship, blasting it apart. Hana screamed as she watched two pilots go down. The laughter inside the human channel stopped. Rayan's jaw tightened. "Enough," he said. He pressed a final command. From the shadows of Earth's night side, 3 human warships emerged, far larger and far deadlier than anything the world had ever seen. They were called the Titan-class ships, built secretly for 10 years, not shiny, not elegant, just brutal metal and human stubbornness. Titan 1 fired first. A beam of kinetic force punched through a storm ship, sending it spinning into the atmosphere like a falling star. Titan 2 activated its rail cannons, massive chains of electromagnetic coils that launched tungsten rods at near-light speed. The rods hit Storm Fleet ships like divine hammers, smashing shields apart. Titan 3 opened its weapon bay. Inside was something the Empire had never seen, a swarm of micro-drones, each the size of a coin, built to chew through metal like hungry insects. The drones launched, millions of them glowing like silver dust. Storm Fleet fired wildly, trying to stop them, but the swarm moved like water, flowing around shots. When they reached the first storm ship, they drilled into the hull. The alien ship screamed, its energy patterns spiking wildly. Lightning flashed uncontrolled. The hull cracked, then it exploded. The human command center roared in triumph, but Rayan did not celebrate. He watched carefully. Something was wrong. The Storm Fleet wasn't falling back. It was preparing something. A huge pulse built in the center of their formation, a swirling red ball of energy forming between 4 capital ships. Mira stared in horror. "Sir, that's a planet breaker charge." Rayan's face hardened. The Empire had stopped playing games. They were about to fire a weapon that could shatter continents. "Time until discharge?" Rayan asked. 2 minutes. Ghost wing pilots screamed in comms as lightning ships pushed harder. Human Titans struggled under the growing storm. Clouds swirled violently over Earth's oceans. Hana's voice crackled through the channel. "Admiral, what do we do now?" Rayan took a long breath. Then he smiled, a slow, dangerous smile. "We take their toy away." He tapped a command on the console. A new ship uncloaked above the planet, silent, invisible until now. Humanity's final secret, the Shadow Lance. A ship built not for war, but for theft. Rayan spoke. "Shadow Lance, steal the planet breaker core." The ship vanished in a blur. The Storm Fleet didn't see it, they didn't even sense it. Shadow Lance warped behind the 4 capital ships, extended its gravitic arms, and ripped the planet breaker core right out of the energy field. The red ball collapsed. Alien ships screamed. Hana gasped. "We stole their weapon, how?" Rayan answered softly. "Because humans don't follow rules, we break them." The Storm Fleet was no longer calm, no longer arrogant, no longer controlled. They were angry, violent, desperate. They sent a final message. Second test failed. The Empire will not hold back anymore. And in the tier in the sky, something even larger began to emerge. Something colossal, something ancient. Mira stared in terror. "Sir, what is that?" Rayan whispered one word: judgment. The real war had only begun. The tier in the sky kept widening, stretching like a burning wound in the fabric of space. The Storm Fleet was nothing compared to what began to emerge next. Even from the ground, people could see the change. The red light inside the tier started to pulse like a giant heartbeat. Slow, heavy, unstoppable, the oceans trembled. Clouds twisted into spirals. Birds fell silent. The entire planet seemed to hold its breath as a massive shadow moved behind the tier, larger than any ship humanity had ever imagined. Rayan stood in the command center, eyes locked on the screen. Officers whispered in fear. Scientists tried to calculate the size of the new object but kept failing. The numbers were too high. It's a super capital, Mira whispered. Bigger than Titan class by 100 times. "No," Rayan said quietly. It's something worse. As the object pushed forward, lightning cracked across the tier. Pieces of broken space fell like shards of glass. And then the monstrous ship revealed itself. It wasn't sleek like the Storm Fleet. It wasn't graceful. It looked ancient, like some giant stone fortress carved from a dead world. A metallic ring surrounded it, rotating slowly. Tower-like structures rose from its hull. Its exterior glowed with strange runes, radiated a pressure that made the human ship's hulls creak. They could feel it, not through sensors, through their bones. The Empire's message echoed across Earth: the Judgment Citadel has arrived. Humanity will now face final test. Judgment, final. Humans across Earth screamed, prayed, panicked. Even the bravest soldiers felt their courage shake, but not Admiral Rayan. He stared at the Citadel like it was a puzzle waiting to be solved. "What is the Citadel?" Mira asked, voice thin. Rayan answered calmly, "It's not a warship, it's worse, it's a judge." The Citadel began to activate. Dozens of glowing plates moved across its hull, turning like gears inside a machine from another universe. Each plate held thousands of tiny lights, shifting in patterns impossible for human minds to understand. A beam fired from the Citadel, not a weapon, a scan. The beam swept across Earth, causing city lights to flicker and oceans to ripple. The Empire was not simply reading data. They were reading people, memories, history, struggles, conflicts, peace, war, love, hatred, everything that made humans human. All of it streamed into giant alien processors inside the Citadel, and then a cold message followed: humanity is not suitable for peaceful galactic society. Mira's voice broke. They're judging our entire species. They always have, Rayan said. The Storm Fleet repositioned around the Citadel, forming a protective circle. Their weapons glowed brighter. Their shields thickened. They were preparing to wipe Earth clean, but Rayan raised a hand. "Don't fire yet." The officers were shocked. "Sir, they are about to." "I know what they are about to do," Rayan said, "but we must understand their pattern." He pointed at the holo display showing the Citadel's internal movements. "This isn't a random attack. They are following rules. A ritual." Anna's voice crackled through the comms from her ghost wing cockpit. "A ritual? You mean they've done this before?" "Yes," Rayan said, "to countless planets. And those planets are gone," Hana whispered. Rayan didn't answer. Everyone already knew the truth, but humans never feared the truth. They challenged it. The Citadel prepares to strike inside the tier. The Citadel's engines glowed white-hot. The rotating ring around it accelerated. The plates aligned into a spiral pattern. Something ancient and terrifying began to awaken inside its core. Mira's hand shook as she read the energy levels. "Sir, it's charging a purge wave. If that hits Earth, there will be no Earth," Rayan finished. The Storm Fleet formed a spear-shaped formation around the Citadel, ready to unleash a coordinated strike once the purge wave fired. Humanity had minutes, not hours, not days, minutes. Hana flew her ghost wing craft closer, dodging lightning shots. "Admiral, say the word, we'll attack the Citadel." Rayan shook his head. "Your ships would melt before you got within 100 meters. "So what do we do?" she asked. Rayan stared at the holomap for a long, heavy moment. Then he said, "We attack its mind." The plan: no alien expected humans could not break the Citadel's shields. Humans could not outgun the Storm Fleet. Humans could not outrun the purge wave. But humans could do one thing better than any species in the galaxy: hack things they shouldn't. Rayan turned to his chief engineer. "Prepare the neural storm." The entire command center gasped. "Sir, that system was never finished," the engineer said. "It bypasses cyber defense by using human emotion. It's unstable. It could kill the pilots." Rayan's expression hardened. "And if we do nothing, everyone dies." Silence. The neural storm was a strange human invention, part computer virus, part emotional wave generator. It used raw human thoughts to confuse enemy AI. Not logic, not code, chaos, human chaos, the perfect human weapon. Rayan connected the neural storm to the ghost wing pilots. Their brainwaves synced. Their emotions synced. Hana felt her heart pounding. What is this?" she whispered. Rayan answered, "This is why humans win. We think wild. We feel strong, and we never kneel." "Begin neural storm upload," he commanded. The battle of minds, the ghost wing pilots, laughing, crying, angry, hopeful, terrified, brave, became one swirling storm of emotions. Their Neuralink helmets sparked. The Storm Fleet AI noticed something unusual. Unclassified signal detected. Pattern irregular, illogical. The ghost wing ships charged toward the Citadel, not firing, not attacking, just transmitting pure human emotion. Fear, anger, love, chaos, humor, hope, pain, dreams. Humans were sending everything they were. The Storm Fleet tried to block the signal, but emotion had no frequency. It was unpredictable, wild, messy, perfectly human. Alien ships began malfunctioning. AI systems glitched. Lightning cannons misfired, shields flickered. Hana screamed and laughed at the same time, overwhelmed. "Admiral, this is insane." "Yes," Rayan said, "and aliens hate insanity." Inside the Citadel, thousands of alien processors tried to analyze the incoming wave of human emotion, but there was no pattern, no structure, no logic. All they saw was a storm. The Citadel core pulsed violently. Runes on its hull flickered, its purge wave charge slowed. "Weakness identified," Mira shouted. "Their AI cannot handle our emotional input." "Good," Rayan said. "Increase the storm." Hana and the pilots pushed their minds harder. Some cried, some screamed, some laughed uncontrollably, some whispered memories of childhood, others shouted war chants. The neural storm grew stronger. Alien systems began to overload. One Storm Fleet ship exploded, then another and another. The Citadel itself began to shake. For the first time in thousands of years, the Empire felt something new: confusion, fear, panic. The Citadel strikes back. The Citadel, enraged and overwhelmed, changed tactics. Instead of analyzing humans, it tried to crush them. 4 enormous cannons unfolded from its hull. Mira shouted, "They're targeting the ghost wing." There, a beam fired. Hana saw it coming. She didn't try to dodge. She had no strength left. But at the last second, Titan 1 flew in front of her. The beam hit Titan 1 full force. The ship cracked, burned, and fell toward the ocean. Hana screamed. "No!" Rayan closed his eyes. The Titan crew had sacrificed themselves, but the sacrifice bought them time. Mira looked up. "Sir, the Citadel's purge wave is destabilizing." "Meaning?" Rayan asked. "It can't fire without destroying itself." For the first time since the battle began, Rayan allowed himself a small smile. "Perfect, let's make sure it does." The final push, Rayan gave one last order. "All ships, focus everything on the Citadel's core." Human ships opened fire from all sides. Rail cannons roared. Energy beams sliced through space. Drone swarms punched holes in the Citadel's armor. Ghost wing pilots kept the neural storm running. The Citadel screamed in frequencies humans couldn't hear but could feel in their bones. Its hull cracked. Its rings shattered. Its core began to implode. Mira whispered, "It's falling apart." The Empire sent one last message: humanity is dangerous. Then the Citadel exploded like a dying star. The tier in the sky collapsed. The Storm Fleet panicked and retreated. Silence fell. Humanity had survived the judgment, but as the dust settled, sensors detected something horrible, a new, deeper signal coming from the galaxy's core. Older, stronger, angrier. Mira stared at the screen with wide eyes. "Sir, the Empire wasn't testing us for themselves." Rayan finished her sentence. "They were trying to protect the galaxy from something worse." The real threat had only just awakened. The Storm Fleet had stopped firing, but the silence was worse than the attack. In every part of the world, city rooftops, dark forest camps, ocean bases, and orbiting stations, humans watched the alien ships with trembling breath. The sky looked wounded. Lightning bled across the clouds. Storm Fleet vessels floated like silent hunters. Then the message came again: "This is war." Earth shook as the last word echoed, but Admiral Rayan stood firm. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He simply watched. Commander Lyra moved beside him, fear clearly visible in her face. "Sir, the Storm Fleet is regrouping. Their weapons are charging again. We can't handle another attack like the last one." Rayan's eyes stayed on the sky. "That's the point," he said softly. "They don't expect us to handle it." He turned to Lyra, calm but sharp. "That's why we must do something they don't expect." The Empire's hidden move inside the Storm Fleet flagship, deep within the glowing lightning core. A council of alien generals observed Earth's response. Their bodies shimmered like living electricity, their shapes shifting with emotion. General Valter, the leader, slammed a crackling arm on the table. "These humans, they are reckless, disorganized, chaotic, yet they keep surviving." Another general hissed, their horizon ship should not exist. Their star net should not read our patterns. Their creativity is dangerous. Walter glared at the hologram of Earth. They passed a drone test. They survived a storm strike. Now they destroy a capital vessel. This is unacceptable. Lightning sparked violently across the room. General Walter spoke again. Prepare the Shadow Corps. The other commanders froze. You cannot be serious, one shouted. That weapon is forbidden for tests. That weapon destroys entire timelines. That weapon changes reality itself. Walter replied, this is no longer a test. Humanity needs to learn its place. The Shadow Corps, a black sphere locked inside the flagship, began to glow. Earth had no idea what was coming. Earth braces for impact on Earth. Panic reached every home. People watched glowing cracks in the sky like they were watching their final sunrise. Hospitals moved patients underground. Governments shut down air travel. Power grids flickered. Everyone waited for something, anything to save them. Above it all, the Horizon ship floated alone, its black armor glowing faint red. Commander Hale spoke over the comm. Admiral, my squadron is down to 9 fighters. We can't fly another full assault. Rayan responded, you won't. He turned to his tactical team. Prepare Operation Mirror. Lyra's eyes widened. Sir, that's unstable. It's never been tested outside simulation. Rayan nodded. It's about time then. Enter Operation Mirror. Underground in a hidden human lab, a large metallic chamber powered up. Inside it, hundreds of drones floated around a massive spinning crystal core. This device wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a shield. It was something new, something human, something creative. It could copy enemy energy signatures and reflect them back 10 times stronger, but using it required bait. Rayan opened a communication channel. Storm Fleet. This is Admiral Rayan of humanity. The aliens responded instantly. Speak human. Rayan smiled slightly. You want a war? Fine, then come get one. He cut the channel. Lyra looked at him. That's it, sir, that's the plan. Yes, Rayan said, because now they will come to us. The Shadow Corps unleashed above Earth. The Storm Fleet flagship opened its lightning hull, revealing a sphere of darkness. A void, a hole in reality. Every other alien ship backed away from it. The Shadow Corps hummed with a sound like cracking bones. Strings of black lightning crawled across the sky. Earth's atmosphere shook. Gravity twisted. Stars vanished from view. Storm Fleet generals watched eagerly. Humanity will break, one whispered. No species survives the Shadow Corps, another added. Walter raised his hand. Fire. The Shadow Corps pulsed. Black lightning shot toward Earth. A wide beam of darkness that swallowed light itself. If it hit, humanity would never exist again. Humans don't break, they adapt. In Human Fleet Command, alarm screamed. The entire building shook. Rayan pointed toward the hologram of the incoming attack. Mirror now. Underground, the spinning crystal core reached full power. Drones aligned. The chamber glowed bright red. A column of energy shot upward from Earth toward the sky. A faint, thin beam compared to the massive Shadow Corps attack. Commander Lyra worried aloud. Sir, our beam is too weak. Rayan answered with a calm whisper. It just needs to touch. The beams met. Light met darkness. The world held its breath. For a moment nothing happened, and then the mirror activated. The human beam bent, twisted, and duplicated the alien energy. It copied the Shadow Corps' destructive signature. Then it multiplied it 10, 20, 30 times and reflected it back, straight toward the Storm Fleet flagship. The Empire feels fear inside the flagship. Alarms exploded. What is this? Our own power turned against us. The humans reflected the Shadow Corps. General Walter stared in disbelief. No species can do that. Stop it. Divert energy. But it was too late. The reflected beam hit the Storm Fleet flagship directly, swallowing its lightning hull, cracking its structure, and pulling it into its own collapsing field. The massive ship twisted, folded, and vanished into darkness, silence. Then boom! A shockwave expanded through space, knocking half the Storm Fleet ships into chaos. Earth looked up in awe. Admiral Rayan exhaled slowly. That, he said, is how humans return a favor. The storm turns into a fire. With their flagship gone, the Storm Fleet scattered. Their formation broke. Their coordinated rhythm collapsed. What had been a perfect storm became a confused fire, and humans ran toward it. Human cruisers launched missiles. Fighters weaved between lightning blasts. The Horizon fired its space pulse cannon again, ripping through 2 alien vessels. Commander Hale cheered over the comm. "Admiral, they're running scared." Rayan corrected him. "No, they're rethinking, that's worse." Because the Storm Fleet had one final move. The shadow that fights back a small alien ship broke formation and flew toward Earth at impossible speed, glowing red. It wasn't lightning. It wasn't plasma. It was something different. Lyra stared at the scans. "Sir, that ship is not following any known physics." Rayan narrowed his eyes. "It's not a ship. What is it then?" Rayan's voice lowered. "A living weapon." The red shadow creature dove into Earth's atmosphere, ripping through clouds like fire. Human jets scrambled to intercept, but every missile passed through it harmlessly. The creature was made of energy and flesh, something between life and storm. It screamed as it flew. A horrible, metallic sound. It headed straight for the mirror chamber. Rayan understood instantly. "They're trying to destroy the mirror before we use it again." He yelled, "All forces, protect the chamber." Human jets fired everything they had, lasers, cannons, railguns, nothing worked. The creature passed through them like a ghost. The fall of the mirror, the energy creature smashed into the hidden underground facility. Explosions erupted. The earth cracked. Flames shot up like volcanic bursts. Commander Lyra screamed. "Mirror chamber is collapsing." Rayan's fists tightened. "Evacuate the scientists, seal the vault." The mirror core flickered, glowed, then shattered. A blast of raw energy shook the planet. The mirror was gone. Earth's strongest weapon destroyed in seconds. The Storm Fleet saw it, and they found their confidence again. Alien ships regrouped. Lightning surged. General Walter's voice returned, distorted and furious. "Humanity, you have made US bleed. Now you will learn what fear is." The sky turned black. Again, but this time Earth had no mirror to defend itself. And Admiral Rayan whispered the words nobody wanted to hear. "We are out of tricks." He took a deep breath. "But we are not out of fight." The Storm Fleet charged their weapons, and humanity prepared for the next wave. It was black, thick, heavy, like ink spreading through water. Clouds twisted into strange spirals. The air vibrated with a dangerous hum. The Storm Fleet had returned to full power, its lightning brighter, its formation tighter, its anger sharper. Earth had won a battle, but now the Empire wanted revenge. Inside the human fleet command, the lights flickered, the walls trembled, loose papers flew from desks. Officers grabbed railings to stay steady as another shockwave hit the base. Commander Lyra staggered but caught herself. "Admiral, without the mirror chamber, we are exposed. The Storm Fleet is charging for a full planetary strike." Admiral Rayan stood still, hands behind his back, watching the hologram of the alien fleet. His eyes were calm, but deeper inside them, there was something new, not fear, not doubt, strategy. "We're not trying to stop their attack," Rayan said. "We're going to redirect it." Lyra stared at him, stunned. "Sir, redirect how? With what we have?" Rayan raised one finger. "The Horizon." Lyra froze. "But the Horizon's core is unstable, sir. If we push it beyond safe limits, it will do what it was built to do," Rayan finished. "Break the impossible." The Empire prepares the final blow far above Earth. Inside the newly formed Storm Fleet formation, the alien commanders gathered again. The air inside the command chamber crackled with tension. General Walter stood tall, glowing brighter than any other. He pointed to the hologram of Earth, still bruised from the last battle. "These humans are a stain," Walter growled. "A mistake in the evolution of this galaxy." Another commander hissed, "They bend our weapons, they copy our tech, they destroy our ships, they disrespect our authority." Walter raised his arms and lightning crawled across the walls like living serpents. "We end this now, prepare the Tri-Storm." Gasps erupted around the room. "No, Walter, Tri-Storm is forbidden. It destroys continents. It wipes oceans. It tears planets apart." Walter answered coldly, "Good." Outside, 3 massive Storm Fleet ships floated forward. They weren't spear-shaped or winged like the others. These were thicker, heavier, and covered in symbols that glowed purple, the color of annihilation. Together, their energy fields connected. Lightning arced between them. Storm clouds formed around them, and a ball of swirling plasma began to grow. The Tri-Storm. A weapon designed to erase planets from history. Walter gave the order. When the sphere reaches full charge, fire. Earth's last stand inside Human Fleet Command, panic spread like wildfire. Tri-storm energy detected. It's charging to 80%. We can't survive this. Sir, what do we do? Rayan's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. We fight. He turned to the communications officer. Patch me through to all remaining ships. The officer nodded. A moment later, every human pilot, every commander, every captain saw Rayan on their screens. His uniform was torn. His face had ash on it, but his eyes were bright with fierce determination. This is Admiral Rayan, he said calmly. Storm Fleet is about to fire a weapon that will destroy our planet. But listen carefully, humans do not die quietly. Humans do not kneel. We face the impossible and then we break it. Ships around the Earth stopped moving. Pilots stared at the transmission. Some had tears in their eyes. Rayan continued, we are outnumbered, outgunned, and out of time. But we have something they do not have. We learn, we adapt, we evolve in battle. He pointed upward. The horizon will lead the counterattack. All fighters cover it. All cruisers open fire on the Tri-storm. By a second, every second will save millions. A single sentence ended the broadcast. Humanity attack. The comm cut. Silence. Then, a roar of engines as hundreds of human ships launched at once. The battle of the Tri-storm. Human fighters shot upward first, their trails streaking across the dark sky like silver comets. Behind them, cruisers activated full shields and fired wave after wave of missiles. The horizon moved last, slow, heavy, but powerful. Inside the command deck of the horizon, Captain Hale stood with his crew. A young pilot asked, voice shaking, "Sir, do we have a chance?" Hale smiled without fear. "We're human, that's our chance." The horizon's engines flared to life. It rushed toward the Tri-storm like a beast hunting lightning. The Empire strikes back. Storm Fleet ships fired lightning cannons, gravity spears, ion storms, dark plasma waves. Human ships dodged, rolled, twisted through the chaos. Some fell, some exploded, some crashed, but none turned back. Admiral Rayan watched the battle unfold. Hold formation, hold now, break. Human ships scattered. Storm Fleet blasts missed, hitting each other instead. Lyra gasped. "Sir, they're hitting themselves." "Humans confuse them," Rayan said. "That's our power." The horizon makes its move as human ships fought desperately. The horizon reached the Tri-storm field. The weapon pulsed with destructive power, glowing brighter and brighter. "Captain," an officer shouted. "Tri-storm at 94%. Hale nodded. "Prepare the horizon core." Every crew member stiffened. "That could kill us," someone whispered. "True," Hale said, "but if we don't, Earth dies anyway." The horizon's central engine chamber glowed red-hot. Wires snapped, panels cracked, sparks flew. Inside the unstable core, energy swirled like a contained explosion. Hale raised his hand. "Fire the phase lance." The phase lance vs. The Tri-storm, the horizon's cannon fired a thin white beam. It looked harmless. But the moment the beam touched the Tri-storm sphere, the universe shook. The sphere glitched. Colors warped. Lightning froze in midair. The Tri-storm flickered like a dying star. General Walter screamed, "Counter it, overload the Tri-storm." Storm Fleet ships poured more energy into the sphere. It grew huge, too huge. The weapon was overheating. Lyra saw it on the scanners. "Admiral, it's going to blow." Rayan nodded. "Yes, that's the plan." The Empire's fear inside the Storm Fleet flagship. Alarms blared. Tri-storm containment unstable. It's feeding off the human attack. It's turning critical. We must retreat. Walter roared, "We do not retreat." But his own commanders backed away from him. Humans have forced a weapon overload. They turned our power against us. They are unpredictable. Walter slashed the air with rage. "Humanity cannot win. They are nothing." A quiet voice replied, "And yet they make us afraid." Walter froze. Never in the Empire's history had anyone spoken those words. The explosion that shook the galaxy, the Tri-storm sphere, reached 100%, then 130%, then 200%. The color changed from purple to blinding white. Rayan whispered, "Brace." A moment later, Cthulhuum. The Tri-storm exploded outward in a massive shock wave. Storm Fleet ships were thrown in every direction. Human fighters spun violently but kept moving. The horizon's hull cracked, but it held. The flagship of the Empire lost power. Its lightning faded, its shields collapsed. The Empire had been struck by its own weapon, all because humanity refused to die. Smoke rose, ships tumbled, silence followed. Commander Lyra stared at the screen. "Sir, did we win?" Rayan shook his head slowly. "No, they still have one more fleet." "Core fleet?" Lyra's breath froze. "Sir, the core fleet is the Empire's strongest group, the oldest, the deadliest, the ones who conquered entire galaxies." Rayan nodded. "And now they are coming here." The air trembled, a new tier in space opened, and from the darkness larger ships began to emerge, ships older than Earth, built by the first generation of the Empire, unbeaten for thousands of years. Rayan looked at the sky. "Part 2 of the test begins," he whispered. But this time, the tier was not like a wound, it was like a birth. Slowly, ancient ships emerged from the darkness. They were not bright like the Storm Fleet. They were not loud or sharp or shining. They were old, older than the Empire, older than most stars. Their hulls were black stone mixed with metal covered in symbols that glowed faint blue. Each ship moved like a mountain sliding through space. The core fleet had arrived. Earth had fought drones. Earth had fought storms. Now Earth faced legends. In the human fleet command, everyone fell silent as the scans loaded. Commander Lyra whispered, "These ships, they are from the first age of the Empire. They've conquered entire civilizations." Admiral Rayan stared at the screen without blinking. "Yes, now they've come to conquer us." The Empire's final message, a new hologram, appeared in the sky, larger than any before. It did not show a face. It showed a shadow, massive, ancient, and filled with eyes like dying stars. A voice spoke, deep enough to shake skyscrapers. "Humanity, you have destroyed the Storm Fleet. You have broken the Tri-Storm. You have forced our generals to retreat. This never happened before." Earth held its breath. The shadow continued, "Your species is dangerous, so we will not test you anymore. We will erase you." Then the hologram faded. Lyra turned to Rayan, fear tightening her voice. "Sir, the core fleet carries planet crackers. They can break Earth in half." Rayan answered quietly, "Then we break them first." The last plan. Rayan walked to the main table. He placed both hands on the metal surface and looked at every officer. "This is humanity's last stand. We have no mirror. The horizon is damaged. Our fleets are broken, so we fight with what we have left, our minds." He pointed to the core fleet projection. "These ships are ancient. That makes them strong but slow. Their weapons need time to charge. Their shields react late. Their systems run old patterns." Lyra narrowed her eyes. "Patterns, you think we can predict them?" Rayan nodded. "We adapt, we always adapt." He opened a new file, one no one had seen before, Operation Echo. It wasn't a weapon, it wasn't a fleet formation. It was something else entirely, a plan that would only work if humanity acted together. Rayan looked up. "We're going to hack the Empire." Lyra blinked. "Sir, hack the entire Empire?" "No," Rayan said. "We hack their fear." The rise of the horizon above Earth, the horizon floated silently, its armor cracked, its engines dim. Inside, Captain Hale stood with half his crew injured, consoles burning, wires sparking. An officer limped toward him. "Sir, are we even able to fly?" Hale smiled through bruised lips. "Flying isn't the problem, stopping is." The horizon's core hummed, unstable, unpredictable, but alive. Hale activated the comm. "This is the horizon. Admiral, give us the target." Rayan replied, "The core fleet's command ship, the oldest one, the one that carries their main AI." Hale nodded. "We'll bring it home." He turned to his crew. "All right, you beautiful maniacs, one last ride." The horizon roared forward. The final battle began. The core fleet attacks. The ancient ships moved like titans. Their weapons charged slowly, glowing blue spheres that looked like growing stars. When they fired, the beams didn't crackle like lightning. They cut through space silently, erasing whatever they touched. A single beam sliced a human cruiser in half. Another carved a burning trench across the atmosphere. Human ships scattered. Some burned, some fell, but none surrendered. Rayan watched with clenched fists. "We must reach the command ship," he said. "It controls the others. If we blind it, the whole core fleet collapses." Lyra looked at the map. "But the command ship is in the center of their formation. We can't get close." Rayan nodded slowly. "That's why Operation Echo exists." Operation Echo, humanity's gamble. Operation Echo had one purpose: use human creativity to create chaos so big the Empire couldn't understand it. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were messy. Humans didn't follow patterns. The Empire expected logic. Humans would give them madness. Rayan activated the Echo Protocol. Instantly, every remaining human ship changed formation. They didn't fly in lines, they didn't fly in waves, they flew like a flock of birds, random, chaotic, impossible to predict. Storm fleet scanners broke, core fleet computers glitched, their targeting systems failed. "Sir, their weapons are missing," Lyra said in disbelief. "Of course," Rayan smiled. "No machine can track a human who stops trying to be predictable." Human ships zigzagged, looped, spun, retreated then charged, split then rejoined. The core fleet had never fought something like this. Humanity wasn't just resisting. Humanity was confusing the galaxy's greatest empire. The Horizon suicide run. The horizon broke through the chaos, engines burning bright red. Captain Hale pushed his crew and ship beyond limits. "We only need one hit," he shouted, "just one." A beam from the core fleet command ship fired at them. Hale rolled the horizon sideways, an impossible maneuver for a ship its size. Metal tore, panels exploded, but the ship kept flying. Another beam fired, Hale tilted downward. A piece of the hull vaporized, still flying. A third beam fired. This time Hale didn't dodge, he went through. The beam tore through the horizon's left side, ripping off an entire wing. The ship spun wildly. Hale slammed his fist on the console. "Stabilize, stabilize." The horizon leveled out barely. Smoke filled the command deck. Alarms blared, people screamed, but the ship kept moving. The horizon had one last breath, one last chance. Hale whispered, "For Earth," and fired the last remaining cannon. The shattering of the command ship, the cannon blast hit the core fleet command ship directly. Not hard, not powerful, not planet-breaking, but accurate. It struck the glowing blue orb at the center of the alien ship, their ancient AI core. A crack appeared, just a crack. But for the first time in 10,000 years, the Empire's oldest ship took damage, and the Empire finally felt real fear. The crack spread, the AI core flickered, the core fleet formation collapsed, their weapons dimmed, their engines slowed, their shields flickered off. Lyra screamed in joy, "Admiral, the core fleet is shutting down," but Rayan wasn't smiling yet. "Look," he said quietly. On the screen, the command ship opened a channel. The shadowy figure returned, but this time it looked weaker, smaller, afraid. It spoke. "Humanity, why do you fight like this?" Rayan stepped forward. "Because we don't fight to survive," he said. "We fight to win." The shadow asked, "What do you want?" Rayan replied, "Respect." Silence. Then the shadow spoke the words the galaxy had never heard. "The Empire will stand down." Humanity has passed the test. Every human in the command center froze. Every pilot stopped firing. Every screen dimmed. It was over. The Empire withdrew. The sky cleared. The day returned. Earth had won. The galaxy's new rule. The Empire sent one final message. "We will not test humanity again. From this day, we will not test anyone. Your courage has changed the law of the galaxy." Rayan replied, "Remember this lesson. Do not come to judge humans, because humanity judges back." The connection faded. Earth erupted in cheers. People cried. Soldiers hugged. Families celebrated. The war was over. Humanity had not only survived, humanity had changed the galaxy. Humanity had become something new, a species the Empire feared, a species the galaxy respected, a species that laughs at impossible odds. Humanity had earned its name.